some kind of solution in the web. So here's how he found our website.
Okay.
All right.
So not his first choice,
But yes, but he's.
Okay.
I think he's willing to make this option. So we are going to start you here on the home page. I'm going to set this timer here to 17 minutes. And we're going to get going. So a couple quick notes for you, Leah. We are testing the system here. We're not testing you. And there is no such thing as a wrong answer. There's no such thing as doing anything wrong. So please just act like you would with any new website you are interacting with, aside from leaving entirely. Should you reach a point where you want to leave entirely, just let me know. We'll talk about that. I am not an expert on this site. I have performed the workflow that I've described here, and I know a little bit about how it should work. I will do my best to answer any questions that you have, and I may not be able to answer all of the questions that you have, and I may, when you ask me a question, respond with another question. Please do your best at all times to think out loud, especially before clicking or mashing on any buttons. If you can have the wherewithal to say, I want to click this or I want to look at this before you do it.
That shouldn't be too hard.
Awesome. We are going to work on this task through the allotted time that we've allowed. If we don't complete it, it's okay. There's no such thing as failing here. All we're trying to do is get an understanding of how a new person might interact with this. So, do you have any questions for me before we get started?
Let's do it.
So, what I would ask you to do now is to please use this site to register for cargo ship.
Okay. Should I say everything that I'm doing?
Yeah, let's talk about, first of all, what are you seeing on the screen in front of you?
The first thing that catches my eye is get started for free.
Okay.
Based on a question that you asked me. I imagine that the stuff that I'm seeing on the bottom is just like other shipping companies that have used this website to sort of make me feel like it's important, like it should be meaningful to me if I know what those are. Other than that, there's not too much else going on. There's a login call and a create account call. I imagine create account and get started for free will take me to the same place. I wonder if maybe they won't, because there's also a pricing guide. So I don't know if get started for free might take me somewhere different. I don't know. Guide, I don't entirely know what that would do.
Okay.
So.
A couple things I'd like to ask you about further there. The first being on the bottom of the screen, you're speaking about what you're seeing there, our clients, and saying how, I think you said something like those are maybe other people that do this. Is that information interesting to you? Is that attractive to you? How do you feel about seeing that?
It makes me feel like there's probably some legitimacy to whatever this is. If you guys are using them and they are comfortable with you putting their logos on your website, maybe there's a part of me that wonders if I might be entering a competition pool. It's like, oh, but like if they're on here too, then like it's still sort of, I'm still competing against the same people. But I think more so, I feel like, oh, okay, if they're using you, then you must be legit.
Excellent. So actually, yeah, so if you would, just go ahead and do whatever you think the next logical step is. Fantastic.
Get started for free. Okay. Should I continue on to actually making an account?
Yes, and now should we, what I'll do is give you an email address to make it easy.
We'll make you a fake last name.
And why don't you use CMARTUZA@gmail.com. Go ahead and just use something that makes sense to you.
I'm a ship owner.
Why don't we talk about that drop down there and what you're seeing?
So breaking character for a minute. I don't necessarily know that I know the difference between these things, but I imagine that he was a ship owner. That's what you said, right? So I imagine a broker is someone who helps ship owners find people who would like cargo on a ship, and is a charter or someone who needs a ship.
I don't think it's super important,
Okay.
but I think that ship owner is the logical choice to make here. And before you click anything here, let's just talk about what else you might be seeing on this screen.
Create account with LinkedIn.
Okay, talk about that.
I don't think I've ever created an account with LinkedIn for anything. I guess I understand why LinkedIn and not any of the others. Because it's like the others are usually like personal, and you might not be using that if I was doing this for business. But I wonder, like Google, if I'm using Google for business, like I could still technically, or like with Outlook, I don't know if that's an option, but LinkedIn still feel, I don't know. Guess I don't know enough about like the shipping trade if it's more personal, but I don't know that I've ever created an account with LinkedIn before.
And then before moving on, Is there anything on the screen that's standing out to you right now? Anything that you maybe haven't seen before? Something that's outside of any standard account creation experience that you have?
Oh, really? Should there be? I don't know. It looks like I'm creating an account. It didn't ask me to confirm my password, and sometimes that makes me nervous. But like maybe I typed one letter off and I'm going to walk out forever. But I guess should that happen, I'll just redo my password. Although if I'm Barry, I may not be so keen on that.
Interesting.
All right.
And so just real quick to dig into that a little bit more, what would be a more standard or more traditional thing that you might have seen?
Confirm password, like password and then confirm password.
Like two separate boxes?
Yeah, just because like I don't necessarily, or I suppose I could do this, but I don't know that I would necessarily know that that's what it's for if I'm not a typical like user of like computers.
Sure.
I may miss that entirely.
And I'm going to draw your attention very quickly to the 3 green lines that are just right to the right of the password.
So I personally know that that means my password is strong enough, but if I wasn't someone who created a lot of accounts, like assuming I'm Barry who doesn't necessarily do this unless he has to, I don't necessarily know that I'd know that that was what that was referring to. But if I was doing this as Leia, I would know what that is.
And so when you're ready, go ahead and do the next logic. Now talk about what's just happened.
I am seeing some sort of what I imagine is probably a dashboard. Everything is simple, only 2 easy steps are required in order to start fixing. I'm assuming fixing is a term that I just, okay, fill in your profile. Okay, so I just.
So before clicking on anything, what is the purpose of this pop-up?
It appears to be some sort of onboarding where it's gonna like walk me through what's like what I need, like what's coming next. I imagine that if I click Let's Begin, it will take me through each step, but it also might not. It may just bring me to this dashboard and then I have to navigate it, which makes me a little bit more nervous. So I would hope that it would take me through each of those steps with the option to skip if I wanted to, but I don't know what it's gonna do. I imagine it will take me through each step.
And then of the items that are visible on the card, what do you think is interactive there?
Let's Begin. And the X. Fixed Charter is like a bolder blue with the same color as the call to action. So like it makes me think that maybe I can click on it because there's nothing distinguishing it, but then it's not. But I imagine I think that the idea there was to emphasize that it's the end, but it also kind of makes me wonder if I can click on any of them. But I can only click here.
And whenever you're ready, go ahead and do the next step in your process.
Okay.
Now let's talk about what is here.
So this is profile. I feel like I just did this though. So like it's interesting that it took me here first, or that it's all together. Because I was like, I just put in my name and everything, and now it's like how is this different from what I just did? But like I get also why I'm here.
And now if you had to answer why it's different than what you just did, could you dig into what you think might be different?
I mean, I guess it's trying to like get my business information here, where it's like if we're gonna put you out there like as a listing or as someone to contact. But it's interesting that like I'm thinking, why is this my personal information or my business information? And I wonder if as a ship owner those things are usually the same, but I don't know. Like if it's my company, maybe I would feel like I guess I'm used to there being a profile for like me and my like settings, and then a profile for like the information that's going to be seen by like the people interacting with my information. And this feels like it's all in one place. So how much of this is going to be seen by people, and like what does it look like on the other end? This is a little bit, I don't know. Also, I don't necessarily understand what the icons by the upload button are. Is one for the picture of me and one for a picture of my boat? I don't know. Okay, should I do something with it now?
I would say, yeah, let's go ahead and do whatever seems like the next logical step. Your ultimate goal here, again, is to get your ship registered. So whatever you think is necessary to achieve that goal. And feel free to use sample information, whatever makes sense to you.
I'll just do this because it was there. Also, if I signed in with, if I created an account with my LinkedIn information, would this stuff have imported?
Yes.
Okay, good to know. So, the ghost has told me. A heavenly voice has spoken. Can't spell.
Now, I'm going to ask you real quick before we move on. What I've noticed here is that you've filled in the majority of the fields. Can you talk about the motivation behind filling in all?
I want people to be able to reach me, and I imagine that like different people coming to this are going to have different ways of wanting to connect with me. This is, yeah. Also because I'm not super comfortable with like the internet and technology, I don't know which ones are more important. So like I'm going to fill them all out and like hope that someone can find me somewhere. I think.
Then if I was going to ask you about,
Sorry.
oh, it's okay. We'll try to answer this question, but feel free to not. I was going to ask you about required fields. How much of the information that you just entered did you feel like you were required to enter? Any other?
Actually, when I first looked at it, that was the first thing I looked for. I
Okay.
didn't see anything that indicated that things should be required. At least it didn't catch my eye, which is why I was like, I don't even know if I need to fill this all out. Like I could potentially skip it. The other thing is that I didn't necessarily know how to skip it. When I first came in, I imagined I could press these things on the side, but it wasn't like immediately relevant. Like it wasn't immediately shown to me that like, oh, like if I don't want to do this, I could go out of it. At least not that I remember.
And now, just for a brief moment, let's talk about what you're seeing here.
I did it, right? I think that's what it says. And now I'm supposed to complete the next step in this process. And I imagine that if I X out of it, I'll just see what's behind me or what's behind this like overlay screen.
Do those words, let's add first position, exclamation point mean anything to you? Whether as Barry or as Leah?
As Leah, my assumption is that it will lead me to the next step in the process. As Barry, I think so too. I think for Barry, it may need to be a little bit more like explicit of like, it's fun, but I don't necessarily know 100% what's going to happen when I click it. Because I'm wary of everything that's going on so far.
Sure.
Like, my kid told me to do this. Did I do it right? So, all right.
Go ahead and move on when you're ready. Now again, just to recap, register your ship with the site is the ultimate goal here.
Okay.
And then before entering anything in here, if you could just take an overview and review what you're seeing here real quick. Or as long as it takes you.
I imagine this is where I'm going to actually add my ship or boat or vessel for that matter. Okay, now I'm curious. What were those, the upload thing with the like icons in the profile? What was that for? Because now I would imagine that this is where I would put a picture of my ship. So I don't know what those things did. I don't know what a lot of these things mean. I mean, I can imagine what they mean, but I don't know. But yeah, like this looks like where to add my boat. I would imagine that once I did this, maybe I'd be done. If the goal is to add my ship,
Sure.
Register my ship, if those are even the right words.
And again, to talk about the required field question.
Nothing seems required here. I'm looking for that like little red star, or I imagine that if something was required and I didn't fill it out, when I hit add vessel, it would pop up with like something red to let me know that I didn't do it right.
And so just for fun, why don't you know how to do that?
Hit add vessel?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Is this satisfying?
I did it wrong. What?
No.
No. Like,
okay.
That is good to know, but I think I would have wanted to have known first. Yeah. It's also helpful because now I have to actually fill it out.
Now I can either have her put in dummy information, or we could just move on at this point. Do you have any thoughts, Leslie? We have a few more minutes.
I can.
You want to put in some real information?
No. You can input any other information.
Okay, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I would just say put just
Yeah, I'm
some
not gonna
generic
do anything.
justification.
Is this supposed to be numbers, letters? I just want to know what that's supposed to be.
I believe I put numbers.
Okay. I don't know how many numbers.
And once you get this in, don't
Again,
move on
numbers?
yet.
Yes.
Okay. Will it if I put in something that is letters in a place that's supposed to be numbers, will it tell me that I did it wrong?
Yes.
Yep. Yes. There we go. Again, numbers. Someone gonna laugh at these numbers. Okay. Whatever.
And so before you move on,
Oh, 7 digits.
if you would just real quickly, that's okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. We're almost wrapping up here. There's
I'm a little
some
trigger happy.
information on the left side of the screen. Just talk very briefly about what those different things mean to you, starting with the blue.
I imagine this is search. I don't know for what, general search. I don't like maybe within these things because it seems like I'm in it seems like whatever's happening is limited to these things. I don't think this is where I would go to search like who's on the site or who's looking for things. Not at this point, at least. The rest all look like pages in my profile or things that are going on. I don't know. There was a dashboard originally. I don't know how to get that with that map behind it. I don't know where I would find that again. I'm also not entirely sure where I go to interact with others who are using the site. This feels very much like my profile. Maybe when I finish this onboarding process, I'll see it. But right now, I don't know where the other people are or where the other who am I talking to on this site. Besides for maybe in messages, but is that messages I've already received? Is that my inbox? Do I have to connect with somebody first?
Cool. And we have just to take a couple more minutes. Is there anything you would like her to achieve before we move on to the next session?
You can input the location, choose anyone, date, and you will reach your goal.
Okay. I should add it?
And then real quick, actually, if you wouldn't mind going back to the location area, click back into the location where you put 22 load options.
I was a little confused because I had to X out.
Yeah,
but can I put more than one? Okay. That's the first time that there's been a drop down that had multiple options, at least that I recall just now. Oh, there's apply at the bottom, but I just had to scroll down. Didn't see it right away. But Xing out still saved it, so.
Yeah. And I did notice that was your natural move, was to go to the X. And you did it. When you did that, I guess, could you talk about what were you thinking when you went?
It didn't shorten the list. It didn't the apply is down there, and I guess maybe if I was on a bigger screen I would have seen it right away, but I didn't. So it was kind of usually when you select something, it'll shorten the list to just that. Now I see why it didn't, because I can select more than one. But also I didn't really know. I imagined that I was just gonna have to keep scrolling. I didn't, without seeing the apply button, I didn't know what to do next. And so I was I'll X out of it, I guess. That was sort of the thought.
Those blue numbers meaning?
I imagine that's how whatever the option, whatever I'm looking for, that's how many of that is there. I wish I knew more about boats and cargo shipping.
Well, yeah, go ahead and do what you think is necessary to move on.
Okay, so now I'll hit apply because I see that it's there. And then add position. Oh, that's so cute. I don't think Barry would say that, just me.
Very might.
It's a little wheel. Please verify. Whoa, hold on. I just did all that and now I have to verify my email? That feels a little spammy. Why did you just take all my information and then say verify your email?
what would have been a alternative way?
Sort of like right after I had done it, it's sort of thing coming up being like, please find the link in your email and confirm. And then like once I did that, it bringing me back into here and moving me through those things. This sort of feels like, and now we have all your information. Let us know when you're ready to start, which just feels like you're fishing for my information. Like, who knows? Maybe you're a competitor site who's now going to know that I'm there. And like, I don't know. Now I'm a little bit like, what? I don't like that. I mean, it's great. It's not that I don't like it. It's just that this weirded me out a little bit just now.
It's not good.
Yeah. Also, what happens if I did this through LinkedIn? Then what do I see now? Like, how am I confirming? It will still ask me to verify my email? You won't? Okay. That's interesting. Yeah.
Okay, well, we should probably move on. Thank you so much. That was very helpful. Appreciate your time today.
Oh, wait, you're still doing this. Okay. You good? All right.
Yeah, oh yeah, you're good. We'll let Danny take over here.
All right.
Move on to the next
So,
session.
first, what I want you guys to do is how many? 4. Okay, so half of you go to the side of the room, and half here. I guess like Michael, right? Michael and Soria there, and then the rest here. Put your post-it on the wall or glass. Come on, and I'll tell you the next step. Oh, snap. Not gonna work. Let's use
They're not sticking?
No, because there is an AC there. So for this group, let's use this one. If there is the AC there, then yeah, so whichever that would stick better. Just like any thought you have on one, right? Any thought, observation that you had. So now what we're gonna do is that we're going to start clustering the stickies, the post-its that are similar. Talking about the same thing. For example, one sticky say drop down, not visible. The other one says drop down, the user didn't see drop down. Put them together. Yep. Right, at Vessel, I'm gonna start lining this. So we're gonna solve. When you see things that we can combine, verify email. I've never seen verify email.
How are you going? We stand with them.
What's the question?
And then now it's the ones that cluster.
It should pop up.
So like I had to get started. The first thing right away was like get started. Yeah. So like if anyone has so it's hard to get started right there. And then I have the final thing.
So we can move things like out. Yeah.
With the header bidder,
That's super registration.
which is how it's like there's no header one so that was the end. So we just like start
Position form.
and that way so like
Another position form where there's like a checkbox, like arrow, filling a drop down.
I would love to work in UI.
yeah, just like put it all together. Like I just figured out what it is. Good enough.
And that's me.
We have garbage yet.
Yeah. Now you own a carpet.
Yeah, it's great. I'm now putting everyone else in Maryland.
Yeah.
I know. I was also mowing the lawn while listening to baseball. That was like, my question is he like mowing the lawn while listening to baseball or only if like listening to baseball? It's just a perfect storm. Definitely a moment.
I think it's like editing the profile
Probably
is
never
not set. It doesn't say why. And then congrats, the same thing. It's like why congrats and what's the next step. Yeah. I would like to know that.